Trading doesn't get much simpler than this. Trading off of the same one VWAP in the direction of trend, just waiting for a key level retest if you have the patience to wait for the pullbacks. Made another $1,200 today on top of yesterday's $3,400, really maximizing on the trend. But it's the same exact setup, so we'll just get right into those first off of looking at the shorts yesterday. I made a YouTube video on this one as well, but waiting for the breaks outside open range low to confirm our trend. That, okay, we are in fact moving lower, right? Because buyers tried to hold this New York, maybe extend us higher, couldn't do it. All right, new information, we're breaking for a new low a day. Longs are out the window, we're below the overnight, we're below this black New York VWAP, anchored from the 9:30 New York Open. I'm looking for shorts, but I can't just sell it at these lows of day and hope it keeps on running. My trades have to come after a pullback, whether it's long or short, doesn't matter. So we let this thing flush as far as it wants to go. It pulls back to our key level of New York VWAP. Actually got a better price than this markup, just showing you how simple it can be if you just wait for the bounce play. Once sellers defend this level, saying, yeah, we're going to stick in, there's our lower high. Let's go get the next lower low. Again, rather than jumping in away from VWAP, selling it a little bit lower, hoping it keeps on going. Again, it definitely could, but you'll get the highest probability the closer you are to VWAP. And same thing, it pulls back, get involved in this move, right? If you miss this one back here, don't just jump in at the bottom. Recognize that you missed that move, accept it, wait for the next opportunity, which is going to come off of the same level we just traded off of back here. And you trade it back down, back in the direction of trend. So easy shorts yesterday. Easy longs today. Same premise. If I just inverted the chart, let it break for a new high a day. I don't know how high it wants to run, but let it pull back to New York. Buyers defend it. Let's go get the next new high. It slowly crawls its way higher. This is on a 2-minute too, just to condense it. Slowly makes its way there, returns to New York. Buyers defend it. Let's go make the next move. Super simple. Screenshot these trades. There's no notes on it. But you really don't even need them because you could recognize where do these moves really happen from, right? There's some small little bounce in there. There's 2 bullish bars there. But looking at the chart, where do the moves often happen from? The stronger moves off the VWAP, right? So that's exactly where I want to be involved. Same thing back here. I want to short it off of these VWAPs. I don't want to short it away from it and hope for some more drop. I want to be as close to it as possible. Even looking back here, if you sold it off the New York, if you were somehow already bearish, clean moves in your favor. That's where you get the volatility, the momentum, and the push back into trend. Now here's the markup of my trade. Again, I didn't hold it till over here. I was out about the pullback here. So I held it a little bit long because I was actually on a call, not even watching it. I got out once I got a stop loss trailed way up there. So a nice 0.9R trade. Don't really care. But the main point on this one as well, looking on the first bounce off of New York VWAP, right? Let's say you trade this bounce. Said it before, you're not taking the high of day VWAP break. That'll be waiting for this purple VWAP to be broken, telling you buyers are 100% back in. You'll probably wait for those plays on the days you want a little bit more confirmation of saying, tell me buyers can step back in. But I don't really need that today necessarily because I know I want to be a buyer. Strong pop, here's the pullback, I'm a buyer. You don't need to convince me anymore, right? So as long as we're near this VWAP, I'll get involved. But let's say you take the bounce play. Stop loss at current structure, no matter what the trade is the least safe. It's too obvious. It's likely to get swept and still move in your favor. So you don't want to get stopped out, have to jump back in and just make back your loss. That's how you stay at break even forever. It's good that you're getting back in and winning, but why are we taking an unnecessary loss where you wouldn't want to be out of the trade yet until it takes out previous structure back here to the left? Then you see it sweep all that out. Now it bounces and breaks the high day VWAP. So if you have a stop loss below that structure, you get a nice pop back in the direction of trend as well. So the whole thing is just looking for the same VWAPs, yes, but we don't know if it wants to hold it like this, where it's 2 perfect candles held and we bounce higher, or on other days or earlier in this day when it plays around it a little bit more. So you want to have a generous stop, not large, that you're going to get poor risk reward, a simple, nice, easy stop that you can still get a nice attainable win and not stretching for too much move, right? You see in the rest of the day, it pulls back some more. That's not going to be off New York VWAP, but if you just look at these little pullbacks, or not even really that little, but you put on a high of day VWAP, buyers step in on this strong pop here, with a good stop loss, you should hold through this. It keeps on building higher lows back here and doesn't break this structure. You should sit in for that next pop. If you get talked out of your move because you're scared that it's going to come lower now, you're not really told you're wrong. So you're just exiting that trade-off of emotions of not wanting to be wrong, and you're maybe not relying on structure enough of saying, did we break any structure, flipping the bias at all? No. We're well above every single VWAP until this higher low or maybe even the one back here is taken out, I still want to be a buyer. And if it does come back down to New York, all right, you got stopped out. Maybe look to buy it back, just like we did back here or back here, right? You might be wrong if you're buying it away from VWAP, but it's not telling you you're wrong yet, right? You don't want to get spooked out of your trade just because it took back this high of day VWAP, the one that broke in purple here. I'm not really too concerned that saying, oh, buyers couldn't hold above, sellers are in, I should get out of this. It's not great that they're back below it. But again, structure is king. Until structure is broken, this high or low, I have to like the longs. You sit through it and you make it back. Another thing would be if you pulled it there because you didn't want to lose, what happens when it gets back above the high day VWAP? You're probably going to have to get back in and try to just make back that loss rather than just winning. So don't over risk on anything that you're scared to lose when it's in that much drawdown. It should be a healthy amount of risk that you could afford the loss and still be able to trade tomorrow. Now, another thing to look at is on the 15-minute. As we could probably guess, all of this above New York, it's above the overnight VWAP as well. ES was actually a little bit more choppy. So let's actually go over this one because this is a great example. On stop loss placement, look at the bounce play we just went over on NQ, buying the bounce off New York here. There's absolutely none. But you should want to be a buyer. It pulls back well below New York. So I guess another mini lesson within that is don't chase that short just because we're below it. We're not actually bearish today, because we're still above on this left side here, the overnight VWAP. So the bias doesn't flip just because you're below the 1 minute VWAP. Makes sense? Because we're not actually bearish until we get below these VWAPs on the left side and start actually moving lower. So let's just realistically play through. Let's switch it to the electronic trading hours here on the 1 minute. And if you long it, we'll put on our own New York VWAP and you'll see it gets clearly below the New York VWAP. But let's put back on our overnight VWAP here in black. And you'll see right to it. So if you long it on that bounce, if it does bounce, you probably don't have a stop way down here at low of day for 20 points. If we're being realistic, you probably just don't. But you wouldn't necessarily want to be out of the move since it's moving down here. So you're probably going to have to take that loss on the chin. And like we just said, it's not ideal, but buy it back as it's moving its way back higher to make back that loss or make back the loss plus some. Again, not ideal. But the structure is not ideal either. I made a video about it. Which asset is better to trade. Depends on the day. At this day, 10:09 in the morning, if you clicked buy off the New York VWAP and I clicked buy, you went into immediate drawdown. At 10:09 over here on NQ, I clicked buy and it went straight into profit, 10:23, right? Regardless of playing the same idea off that key level, one went in my favor, one did not. So it really just came down to almost luck. You chose NQ today. Good job, because that one had a little bit more volatility in it, clearer trend, and wanted to move a little bit more cleanly. But they both should have the same structure by the end of the day of, they both work their way higher, higher highs and higher lows. Just wait for a high day VWAP break. And again, all of these trades are live streamed on ASFX TV. You can see here, it's breaking below New York. No one's in a trade. We're not jumping in shorts. That's not the bias. So tune into the streams. You get free access if you use code FIRST. The link is down below. You'll also get access to the Futures 2.0, which is the full strategy I'm explaining on here, and little snippets. And all the trades we're teaching are taken live here on stream. So make sure you join that, as well as the top one sale is still live. It's 55% off. You can capture up to 5 accounts now. So that's another thing. With these bigger P&L days you see, $3,400 yesterday and $1,200 today, you don't need to over risk. You don't need to risk very heavily at all. If you have 3 or even 5 accounts, $300 per account to 5 accounts, you're making $1,500 that day without over risking. Because if you take a paper cut loss, it's $300 to that account. You could definitely make $300 tomorrow or the next day, right? So you don't need to take on a lot of risk to try to get the bigger P&Ls, because you're not just having all your eggs in one basket. Spread it out, low risk. I need 1 trade today to make $1,200. If I just do that 2 to 3 times this week and do that every week, we'll be in pretty good shape, right? So check it out. It's the cheapest instant funded right now, and you can cover trade up to 5. That deal's not going to last forever, nor will the 55% off. So it is honestly the best time to do that. So check that out down below as well. I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow morning.